Do you think it's right to take an innocent life? Of course, many people would say no. But what if that person's taking the life of somebody else? Then, is it justified? The death penalty, while fading away in the United States today, is used in about half the states, and I think that it should continue to be used. Throughout this speech, I'll show you how the death penalty can ensure public safety and how it's only used for specific, very, very violent crimes. And finally, I'll show you how the death penalty can help ensure that families get the closure that they need. First, the death penalty can help ensure public safety, and this is very important as it can help protect the lives of many people and can bring well being to your community. An example of this comes from an article published by the International Journal of Humanities and Social Science titled The Death Penalty Debate, a look at the main arguments, written in 2017 by Robert Lattin, an English professor from Althaea University. He states, capital punishment has a strong deterrent effect against violent crimes. Each execution saves 18 innocent lives. As this article shows, that on average, death penalty can save 18 innocent lives. That's 18 whole entire people that death penalty has saved from violent offenders. Second, another example of this comes from an article published by the Catholic World Report titled How and Why the Death Penalty Deters Murder in Contemporary America, written in 2018 by Joseph Bassett, professor of government and ethics at Claremont McKenna College. He states that if capital punishment is justified, if necessary to defend public order and ensure people's safety. This shows that other people agree that the death penalty should be used to ensure public safety. And this is important because it protects innocent people's lives. Finally, a third example of this comes from an article published by the Virginia Law Review in 2017 titled The Death Penalty as Incapacitation, written by Mara McLeod, an associate professor at Notre Dame Law School. They state the non-lethal alternative of life without parole may be inadequate to protect the lives and safety of others, as some number of capital murderers are likely to commit future acts of violence against guards to their fellow prisoners or guards. This shows that, yes, people on the outside are very at risk, but prisoners inside who have committed these crimes outside can also commit crimes inside the prison. This can be maybe taking the life of a prisoner or like a prison guard, and that just can't happen. The second thing that the death penalty can ensure is that it's used by only very, very violent crimes. An example of this comes from an article published by SSRN titled The Arbiters of Decency, A Study of Legislators' Eighth Amendment Role, written by David Niven, professor at the University of Cincinnati, and Elisa Cover, professor at the University of Idaho College of Law. They state, the Supreme Court has constructed a set of constitutional rules limiting capital punishment, rules about culpability, proportionality, mitigation, and the narrowing of the class of eligible defendants. These rules vindicate the underlying principle that the death penalty is reserved for a narrow category of crimes and offenders. This shows that they have a specific rule book that they follow to help determine who deserves the death penalty. It's not just every prisoner, it's only these ones who commit very violent crimes. A second example of this comes from an article published in 2023 by Medicine Opera titled Capital Punishment, written by Neil Kurtzman, head of the Department of International Medicine at Texas Tech University Health Sciences Center in Lubbock. He states, execution is typically the sentence reserved for the most heinous of killings. These murders are considered so awful that the only appropriate punishment is death. Again, these crimes are so very heinous and very, very bad that death might be the only reason we can stop them. A third example of this comes from an article titled 3 Observations About the Worst of the Worst, Virginia Style, published in 2021 by Washington Lee University School of Law Scholar Commons, written by Clarina Lane, professor at the University of Richmond School of Law. They state, the Supreme Court has declared time and time again that the death penalty is reserved for the worst, most capable offenders and the worst, most capable crimes. This shows that the worst offenders and the worst crimes possible are the only ones that are getting killed, that are getting the death penalty put on them. Finally, the death penalty can help ensure that the families who are victims get the closure that they need. An example of this comes from an article published by Newsweek titled Inside the Death Chamber, What It's Like to Watch a Convicted Killer Die, in 2025, written by Joshua Rhett Miller. He states a quote from Julia Andrews' sister, a victim, and she says, there's now basically a sense of closure and a sense of peace. This shows that families, this is a direct quote from a family member that says that they've gotten closure from watching their offender die. And this is important because closure for families is a very important thing. And this shows the death penalty can help ensure that the family gets the closure that they need. A final example comes from an article published by The Philippine titled Retribution, the Moral Justification of the Death Penalty, written in 2024 by Aaron Bai, a graduate of the University of Berkeley. He states that retributive justice, such as the death penalty, provides well-deserved closure for victims and families. This disagrees on my point that the death penalty can help ensure that people get the closure that they need. And again, that's very important, as families throughout this time can go through an incredibly hard moment. And with one of their family members dying, that's one of the worst things you can experience in the world. So the death penalty can help give closure to the families who are in need. In conclusion, I hope you understand how the death penalty can help be used to ensure public safety, that how the death penalty is only used for very violent crimes, and finally, how the death penalty can help give families the closure that they need. Thank you. Oh, and here is my notes. Just sources.